Cleanliness Brings Health is a 1945 Disney educational short directed by James Algar. And over the course of 8 minutes, the cartoon compares two families, two rural families, one who have very good hygiene practices, who are very healthy, and a family who have some bad hygiene practices, who are unwell. And it shows us why one of the families is healthy and why one of them is sick. And I have to say, there's some interesting advice in this. I feel like a lot of it is common sense for today's audience, but actually, maybe once upon a time, such as cooking on the floor, as we find out, a lot of the practices that were making the unhealthy family unwell were things that were very customary. And if your parents did something a certain way, your grandparents did it a certain way, you're not necessarily going to question that what you're doing is not the best or most healthy way to do something. And I thought that was a really interesting point, and it did make me kind of think, is there anything that I do, and I do it in a certain way because generations before me have done it, but is there a better way? And I'm sure there is. I couldn't think of anything specifically, but there very well may be. And it's well animated. It's really well animated. In fact, we've got the classic Disney educational short style of a paintbrush painting the scenes before our eyes, which I think is just a way to help make it a lot more engaging. I think it definitely works quite well. The pacing is really good as well, and I feel like it's always worth watching, even for today's audience, even though I think a lot of it might not apply as much. I feel like some of the things are definitely outdated, but as I said, it made me think. It made me want to kind of assess the way I do things, and sure, I'm not going down to the cornfield and spreading my germs, but even with an urban life, we have practices that may not be the best. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was good fun. It's not actually as cheesy as a lot of Disney's educational shorts from around this time. Some of them are really cringy and awkward and almost laughable by today's standards. But actually, I didn't find that this one was the case so much. But it also meant it wasn't as funny. A lot of them are quite comedic. This one, it's not that it was not funny at all, but I feel like it was definitely a lot more serious in tone than some of the other ones. But not necessarily a bad thing. It had a job to do, and I think it delivered the information in a way that was still quite engaging. If you're a fan of Disney, and particularly Disney's educational shorts from around this time, around the 40s, Cleanliness Brings Health is probably worth a watch.